If you hired an offshore talent and 3 months in, you're still doing most of the work yourself, I'm about to tell you something you don't really want to hear. It's not their fault, it's yours. And run an agency that places offshore talents into businesses in the US and EU. And I've been on both sides of this. I've been the talent and I've placed this talent myself. So I've seen this mistake happen from every angle you could possibly think of. Here's what's happening. You're paying 3 grand a month for someone who is delivering maybe 20% of what they actually should. And now you're probably going to think the problem is in the skill set, but it's how you brought them in. So now I'm going to share you the exact onboarding system to make a hire fully productive under 48 hours instead of the typical 90 days. There are 3 things that separate a hire that gives you your life back from one that just bills you every single month. And I need you to apply all 3, because if you skip one and the whole thing collapses, it's more like a chair missing a leg. It doesn't matter how good the other 3 are, you're going down. So let's start with the ones founders get wrong before the hire even logs into whatever they're supposed to do. So number 1 is to stack everything before day 1, not after. I think this is number 1 reason onboarding drags out to 30, 60, 90 days. The founder is waiting for tax to come up before they document it. So one SOP this week, one loom this week, and maybe a meeting this week and then the other. So it goes like that. So while you're slowly figuring things out on how to delegate and all that, your new hire is just sitting there collecting a paycheck, doing nothing. So let me say this clearly. A great hire does not need 90 days of hand holding. That delay isn't onboarding. It's just you not being ready. So before day 1, you stack the entire thing, the SOPs, the do's and don'ts, your best performing plays, the things to avoid, the looms, everything should be ready and waiting. And when you're doing this for just a single role, it's like 1, 2, 3 hours work block, and that's all. From there on, they just have to give you feedback and maybe ask questions, all of that. So it's really just one afternoon. You stack everything and then you hand it over. And if you're actually getting a competent hire, they can start executing in 24 or max 48 hours. So you want to be the founder who has everything all set up, and then your hire starts working within 24, 48 hours. You don't want to be the one who is taking forever and all that, or you're going to get a completely different outcome because of that slow start. It could really backfire. This could be a topic for another day. So now, stacking SOPs only works if you're handing over the writing, yeah? The next part is going to dive into something different, and this is what most people get completely backwards. So number 2, delegate outcomes, not tasks. So what I see most people do is just give hires a task clicks. Okay, this is what you're going to be doing, this is what we need you for, all of that. So it feels safe, it feels organized, it feels like, okay, this is the right thing to do, but it's a trap. A task click just makes your hire dependent on you forever. So whenever they finish the list or they do whatever they're supposed to do, they just come asking you what's next. And where I'm even driving at is that both sides don't know how to tell if they're winning. You can't tell, okay, if they're performing or not, because they're just doing some tasks and hitting the tasks and then report to you that, okay, they've actually done this stuff. That's it. But a real hire doesn't want tasks. They want a target, and that's how you can get the most out of them. So let's say you're hiring a setter now. You have to give them a specific goal. So they have to book this number of calls, they have to get this amount of conversations, they have to have the conversations go like this, and they have to hit all of these metrics. So now they're not just doing the task, they have a goal to hit. And because they have this goal to hit, they're improving every single time. They're not just hitting some certain numbers. They're growing in the company, and then you can scale up from there. Same with a EA, same with a ghostwriter, regardless of the role. Sometimes it looks like, okay, this is not a role with some specific kind of metric that we can track and all that. There's always a way to go about it. It could be something as simple as response time or the quality of work that is going out and all that. That's how you used to judge every single thing. So what you can do again is attach an incentive to like hitting those targets. This is what we found to work really well. Because without a target, without these incentives, you can't really judge their performance, and they would never be able to do their best. And this is not their fault again. It's yours. You just haven't set that system in place. And if you don't do this, you're going to find them drifting. You find yourself micromanaging. You find yourself doing all the things you don't want to do when you hire someone who is supposed to just take over everything and then take it to the fullest, like how well it could possibly be. So outcome over task every single day. This is what's going to turn your employee into an operator. But it's still one thing, quietly killing all of this, and it's not your hire. It's a fair living inside your head. And we're going to dive into it now. So on to the next. Trust them, then test them. This is one part nobody admits. They don't even realize they're doing it. So even after the SOPs are stacked and then the outcomes are crystal clear, we still find these people or founders or CEOs doing the work themselves. Either they're micromanaging or it's just mental stress, all of that. And why does this happen? It's simply because they don't trust the hire yet. They're not ready to let go. They're just so used to doing this thing themselves. They don't really trust that someone could do it on the level or even beyond. So they keep the talent on the leash. They're feeding them scraps. They're thinking they're just being careful. But the truth is that A players or B players don't need a handheld. You just have to give them what they need from day one, point them out the outcome, and get out of the way. So you trust them to execute and test what comes back. So if it's good, you scale it. If it's off, you stack SOPs to catch it. That's pretty much it. Let's go back to that number. $3,000 a month for 20% output. That's $600 of value for 3,000. And that's before you count the hours you're still burning doing it yourself. This is the real bill for bad onboarding. It doesn't just cost you the hire, it costs you the exact time you had to give back. And before you go blame the offshore talent pool, the lie almost every founder tells themselves is that some offshore hire is just some cheap VA, all of that. That's not true. It's not. So the top pros, so the setters, EAs, inbox managers, ghostwriters, and even for roles above, there are a lot of offshore talents that are available out there that will outwork and do better than anyone you'd find locally. So the only catch is in vetting, because you can't filter out talent in a country you've never set foot in. You don't know who is who, and that's not a flaw. It's just how it works. So which is exactly why the founders who win at offshore hiring don't try to do it alone. By the way, if you'd rather skip the parts on guessing who is actually good, that's the whole thing my agency does. We vet and place offshore talent, specifically Nigerian talent, into foreign businesses for exactly these long-term pros. These are not Upwork one-off gigs. These are the kind of people who compound, we get promoted, and actually stay in your business. So the placements I've made are still working with the businesses I put them, even up to 2 years in. So if you're looking to get your next hire, there's going to be a link in the description to book a call with me, and we're going to start working on your next hire right away. So this is how you're going to stop bleeding money on a hire that's supposed to be saving you time. Bye for now.